Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to the White Hatter YouTube news show. My name's Brandon.
Oh, I'm Darren.
Cut you off there.
I did.
I guess
I'm
usually
Darren.
You go first.
That's all right.
All right.
You can go first.
Let's
I don't
talk-
care. I'm a boomer.
Okay.
You basically buried me already, right?
Okay, let's talk about some updates. Update. Darren's no longer here. That's the news. Update.
Hey, I think Cal's older than me, though. Big shout out to Cal. He sent us another email going, "You guys, when you give us a shout out, he goes, I can't stop laughing." He sent me a scooter and you know how we called you scooter and that kind of stuff. He sent one of those. Anyways, hey Cal, how you doing?
Okay. New announcement from us.
Big announcement.
This show is going to be on Tuesday. So normally we release the show on Mondays.
Yep.
Given how 2020's panned out and changing around how we do things here in the White Hatter, the show will be released on Tuesday. So
yeah, I mean, believe it or not, we're actually getting busier now because of COVID and schools are back in and stuff.
Yep.
We're doing a lot of virtual stuff. So we had to kind of shake things up, and we just figured that Tuesday, so we'll be recording on Mondays, but we'll be producing it and showing it on Tuesdays.
Yep.
There you go.
So, I mean, that's new from us.
Yep.
Let's talk about some news.
We did a bunch of presentations this week. That was new.
I mean,
we did a ton of virtual.
I think people know that we're doing virtuals.
We did it. We did a ton of virtuals this week,
yes,
right? We did 9 hours or 8 hours worth of parent stuff, and then I did a couple of schools ones. It's been a good week.
All right,
good week. Yeah.
All right. In the news.
In the news.
First news topic we're going to talk about today is you brought this to our attention in the show notes.
When I read this, oh my god.
Split-second phantom images can fool Tesla Autopilot. So I read this, and what it is that basically, now this is all done in a controlled environment, but basically what it was is a group of hackers, researchers, got one of those like road signs, and they were able to flash a split-second image of a stop sign, and they were able to make Tesla's AI see it split second, because its process is faster than humans, and enable the brakes.
So, I mean, right out of the gate, when I read this, I'm going, oh my god, what's to stop somebody from going to a highway with a little projector and finding a reflective sign or wall somewhere near the highway and just every so often hitting that with a remote, right, with regards to maybe a little projector, because you can get these little projectors now, those nano projectors, and just go and flash up and the brakes are going on and stuff. Or you were telling me that
I have a product idea.
What?
Okay, you get a device for the back of your car, and basically the promotion will be like, someone tailing you too closely, buy the stop sign pop-up for the car. And basically it pops up back of your car.
Even better. What police department in the United States, remember they all went to Teslas? They were doing remember we did a show, we mentioned that in the show.
Oh yeah, they were testing that out.
They were testing out Tesla. So if you're a bad guy and you're driving away from a robbery, you got a flip-up stop sign, like you say, right? And then wham, you just hit the gas. Like, I mean,
somehow I would think, like most police-issued vehicles, certain safety precautions are removed.
Well, you would think,
right?
But who knows? Nobody ever thought about this, right? But the hackers have. But I mean, the absolute horror that this can provide on a highway, like holy cow!
So
can you imagine being the poor driverless? Hey, you're sitting in your car, you're right, it's driving by yourself, you're having a little snooze or reading, because that's what you can do in those cars. Then all of a sudden, it's like Anyway, so when I read that, I went, oh my god! So do you think maybe Tesla and some of the other smart car manufacturers are going to be looking at ways maybe to combat this? You would think,
maybe.
Because didn't you say that road signs, a lot of them that are the electronic LED ones now, you can plug in a thumb drive and you know, and up it goes, right?
Have you ever seen those stories where people like hack into like road signs? Yeah. What they've all done is they broke the padlock and just plugged in a USB drive to change the sign.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's
not telling you to do that. Not telling you to do that. I'm just saying that's
an interesting story.
It was. It made me go.
Yeah. Next news from Samsung. So Samsung is implementing automatic call blocking from spam calls using artificial AI technology.
Samsung, is that a phone?
Yes.
You sure? Because I thought the only phones were iPhones.
Oh, boy. Now, Google announced last year in their lineup of phone products that they had this using Google's AI. Now Samsung's just following along and implementing it themselves.
That makes sense.
Cool for Samsung phones. Yep. Maybe you'll get less spam calls if you buy the new Galaxy Note 20. It's only the new phones.
Yeah, of course.
So, that's
upsell.
That's an interesting thing.
What do we got next?
Next is This one's interesting. The Robin Hood of hackers. So, ransomware group donates $20,000 in Bitcoin, which is untraceable currency online, to 2 charities. Now, according to the reports and these hackers, the money that they got from ransomware attacks was from what they labeled as bigger fish, so like big companies and corporations. Now, what are your thoughts about this one?
That's dirty money. You know, it was money that was obtained by a criminal enterprise, hacking a company.
Yes.
And then you're taking that dirty money, because that's what it is, and then you're donating it to a not-for-profit, right? And if you're a not-for-profit...
Do you take the money?
Not if it's dirty money, right? Like that's me. That's me. That's my moral compass.
This is an ethical conundrum.
Is it? Well, why is it an ethical conundrum?
Well,
it's no different. No, it's no different. Let's say I was a cocaine dealer. And, you know, I'm selling all this cocaine to people out there, and heroin and fentanyl and everything else that's out there. And I'm making big bucks. And I'm going to take some of that money and I'm going to donate it to a not-for-profit. That's dirty money.
Okay. Is that better than you keeping the money for your own criminal enterprise?
Yeah, but no. But what's
the lesser of two evils here?
Yeah, see, slippery slope. If you know that you're taking dirty money, then all you're doing is you're encouraging that individual doing what it is they're doing.
Like banks aren't doing that?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but there's a difference between banks doing it and a drug dealer doing it.
No, banks taking dirty money from drug dealers.
Well, sorry. Yeah, no, that's the
what
same
I'm talking
thing.
about.
The same thing, right? Like if you're a bank and you're taking dirty money from drug dealers, there's laws that say if we catch you, you're going to jail, right?
Yeah, but if there's deniability, like I didn't know. I didn't know.
Does that make it right, though?
And like this is Bitcoin. It's untraceable.
Does that make it right? I don't think it makes it right. It's still dirty money.
Bankers still do it.
It's the Robin Hood idea, right? Steal from the rich and give to the poor, right? But I just, and what's their definition of corporate individuals, right? Like who? That's just me. That's my ethical moral compass. What about you? What would you do?
Well, if I were a nonprofit, do I take the money?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
from
knowing that it was dirty money.
But doing good work with that money.
I don't know, Brandon. Like I just wouldn't, as hard as it would. And
if you're doing good work helping people who are in need, and you get a lump sum of money,
but then you're just encouraging criminal enterprise.
Are you encouraging it?
Yes, because you're getting money from them.
But are you encouraging it?
Well, yeah, you are encouraging it, right?
What's in it for the bad guys?
Well, because it makes them feel good and maybe kind of takes a little bit of heat off of them.
But isn't it better that you are taking the money from them and using it for good work than they taking the money and benefiting themselves criminally?
No, because the money's dirty. It's dirty money. That's just me, man. That's just me.
Are
you sure you're part of my blood here? Like, I'm thinking that maybe
let us know in the comments down below. If you're a charity and a hacker group gives you $20,000 in untraceable bitcoins,
was obtained by criminal means.
Do you take the money? That isn't it's the classic like philosophy 101 class, right? You're hungry, you have no money, your family's hungry. Do you steal bread?
Do you steal bread
to feed the family? You have no means. Do you steal bread to keep everyone alive? Right?
Yeah, I probably would.
I mean, like, it's ethics. It's a complete messy subject.
Yeah,
right?
Is.
Do you take the money? I don't know. I think the lesser of two evils is you take the money because you are taking it from a bad person and using it for actual good things.
Yeah, but then you're just encouraging and you're kind of saying I don't care how you get the money. So who cares if it's a drug dealer and 50 million people have died because of your drugs? We're still going to take your money and use it. So,
but it doesn't benefit. The actual end benefit for the bad guys is to keep the money for themselves and use it to buy whatever they want. That's the benefit.
Call me a boomer then. Maybe it's my boomer moral compass that...
I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but I mean, like...
Would you take the money?
If you're facing the situation...
Would you take the money? Answer the question, Your Honor.
Probably.
Anyways.
An untraceable Bitcoin amount of money just plops into your online account.
Okay.
Well, let us know down below in the comments. Okay, maybe we can agree on this. Okay, so next story. University of Miami according to the Miami New Times.
Oh, this is wrong. This is so wrong.
Okay, here we go. Uses surveillance tactics and was able to identify students in surveillance. Now, this was an unsanctioned protest, and they were able to identify students and call them into the administration office for questioning. But apparently, according to the article, is that the surveillance footage was given to local police, and they asked the police to identify people and report back to the university.
No wonder. No wonder people are complaining about police surveillance states, right? Like, are you kidding me? If there's no criminality surrounding what it is that they did, then why would a police department ever use their resources to assist an outside agency, college, and colleges and universities are big businesses, that's what they are, to enforce their regulations? Like, that's just wrong.
You can see why people are angry around this situation.
I'm steaming because, it's, I just about used a very bad word here. Good
thing I edit it's all post.
Policing, if the story is true.
Yeah, according to the article.
If the story is true, that the police took information from a private entity, i.e. a college or university, that had nothing to do with criminality. And then they used their resources to identify through artificial intelligence and facial recognition.
Paid by the taxpayers.
That is just wrong. It happened here in BC, something similar, where an anti-abortion group had a friendly in a police department, and they were feeding them license plate numbers of people who were driving into the clinic and saying, hey, listen, can you provide me information? And that officer was providing information from that database. And there were significant consequences to the police officer and even to the police agency, right? So it's just wrong. This is something that should not be happening. So when the police are going, well, you know what, you can trust us. What?
Okay. Like what if the situation was there was no police involved? Let's say a university had surveillance footage, they had their own AI facial detection technology, they put people's faces in it and it pops out names.
Okay.
What if police were involved?
No. So if the police are involved, if the incident involved some type of significant breach, like damage to property and that kind of stuff.
It was a breach of policy. It was a breach of
because
code of conduct.
In today's world, in a democratic society, I can speak for Canada, the United States as well, we have the right and a freedom to protest, right? And so using facial recognition technology on somebody who is
public property, this is probably private university property.
So I still have the right. I'm a student. I have the right to be on campus unless I'm told not to be there anymore, right? You do, right? Unless you're told you're no longer welcome. I got the right to be there. And because I got the right to be there, I got the right to protest in a peaceable way, right? So if all of a sudden the university is now using technology to identify protesters for the purposes of punishment, that is wrong unless there was something significant that happened, damage to property, stuff like that. But if all they're doing is, that picture that you showed there, if all they're doing is laying on the ground and protesting the fact that the university should
the Grim Reaper. Yeah, so the protest was about this university opening back up.
Yeah.
For in-class sessions, right? Students were like, no, we should do this all online because of COVID.
Yeah, that's the protest.
That's what it was about.
So they're using facial recognition technology from the police department to identify these people who they are for punishment purposes? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. But again, if police were not involved, obviously that's
still
wrong. Okay.
Still, I mean, that is wrong.
Okay, so if you were a student brought into the dean's office and you were like, hey, you were identified.
It's a deep fake. It wasn't me. Prove it. Prove it.
This AI technology told me so.
Yeah, but AI technology right now doesn't identify deep fakes yet.
I would
talk about that later.
I would ask for the source code.
Yeah,
okay, give me the source code so I can prove. But these companies won't give up the source code.
And you know what? This would be a huge. I guarantee you, this is going to be a huge PR issue to the police department, right? Like it's going to be.
I was surprised.
Issue, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just wrong, right? And so sometimes, here we are in policing trying to build these bridges about what's gone over the past year, trying to build trust and all those things. Stuff like this drives a wedge, right? It's just the use of technology for inappropriate reasons. Just because you have it and you can do it doesn't mean you should do it.
A couple cities in North America have banned facial AI from public institutions.
And we how many times in the show have we gone over the fact that AI still comes up, facial recognition still come up with false positives, right? Where people have been arrested because they thought they had a warrant for them, when in fact later on there was no warrant.
Falsely accuses a bunch of racial minorities.
Yeah. Just wrong. Like when you shared this one with me, I went, "Are you kidding?"
I think you found this one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm thinking, God, again, you can see how passionate. Here we are. I'm no longer in policing, but police departments are trying to build these bridges of trust, and stuff like this is just, I just about used another bad word, wrong. Next topic.
All right. On the topic of roughly deep fakes, Adobe
That's a good one.
is unveiling tools in a way of authenticating a creator's content. So what they're a tool that will be put into the Photoshop and photo editing suite will allow creators to kind of put in and identify through code in the image their like name and date of creation as a way to authenticate what you've made or take a picture of is what you actually took a picture of.
Yeah, no, I like this idea.
Yeah, in a way to ensure copyright and authenticity. Authenticity.
Yeah, you practiced that one a few times. What's interesting about it, this will now become a cat and mouse game, right? Because now that they're developing this technology, there will be those who are going to try, okay, how do we hack this? How do we get around this, right? But what I like about what Adobe's doing is they're actually trying to be proactive. They've identified an issue and they're trying to protect their interests and the interests of their clients. So tip of our white hat to Adobe for doing that. I think this is a really good initiative, as well as the next one you're going to be popping up here.
Microsoft, and this came out last month, Microsoft unveiling a demonstration of their tool they're developing. Now, Microsoft is a part of a consortium of companies that have come together in order to find a standardized detection solution protocol that everyone can utilize in order to analyze video and identify deepfakes.
Because I think, the industry, and we can say all kinds of stuff about big tech and, how, they're bilking money and all that kind of stuff and privacy issues. But I think all big tech has now finally recognized that these deep fakes can be extremely problematic for a whole variety of different reasons. So they're actually now pouring money, and rightly so, because it's their platforms, into developing technology to help differentiate between what's real and what's a deep fake. And I think that is important considering where deep fakes are going.
I would suspect the technology would be made freely available. Like I would suspect, I should probably look. There's already a software out there, but I would suspect a website that you take a video, a picture, you upload it, and it will give you a percentage of probability of the fakeness of the video.
Most of the
might be what's already like that.
Most of the deep fakes that I'm seeing, you can still see that something's not right. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some good stuff out there that is being done by state actors that you can't frickin' tell, right? Like it's good stuff. But the porn industry right now is kind of moving into deep fakes where you can take a picture of somebody who you really like and put it on and you can still see it's kind of like fake. Not saying that I'll watch that at all, but you can see that, right? And there's been some other things online where pictures and videos, and you can tell that they've been augmented sometime, but it's getting better with every day that passes, right?
I mean, I like to see maybe like your web browsers, for example. Like your web browsers come with all kinds of cool features. It'd be kind of cool if web browsers come with a standard feature that when you look at an image or video on a website, maybe in the top corner, it can give you like a little red icon going, hey, something's probably not right here.
Yeah, something's not right.
If this detection technology becomes more easily accessible and
be a little careful, maybe drill down a little bit deeper on what it is you're looking at or what was sent to you. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think have like an overlay on your technology.
No, I'm pretty sure Adobe as well was working on some deepfake technology too, right?
Yeah, so
I remember we did a thing on that last year.
I think they're a part of this consortium of group of people. But Adobe's working on detection software as well in order to combat. But it's cool they're looking at the proactive side as well in terms of you create a video. How do you authenticate it?
Yep, good idea. Yeah, tip of my white hat. I mean, good job for this consortium, right? So
so that's good news. Now, I mean, having a browser add-on would be great, but I mean, that being said, there are issues with browser add-ons. For example,
this is an interesting one when you brought this to my attention today.
Adblocker. So the Adblocker, Nano Adblocker, and Nano Defender, which have been installed roughly estimated 30,000 times.
That's 300,000.
Sorry, 300,000.
It's not 30. It's
300.
3 with 5 zeros is 300,000, not 30,000.
Got it.
Okay.
All
right, Scooter.
What they said.
Cal. Scooter Cal.
Basically, what it was identified as to manipulating website data, accessing personal data on the browser, and potentially then manipulating social media accounts.
And a lot of browsers now, Safari, Firefox especially, even Google Chrome now are coming with a lot of add-ons, right?
Yeah. Web browsers, in a way, are kind of becoming their own separate operating system because, I mean, when you think about it, everything we do, especially in 2020, working from home, a lot of people's lives are managed through the web browser. Be it you check your email, you go connect to your company website, or you log into an online portal. Everything's managed through the browser.
So the problem with the add-ons is you don't know who's created them, right?
That's the issue. If you have an add-on on your browser, it's kind of the same thing as downloading a program on your main computer.
Right.
But it's making sure that program is legitimate and doing proper work.
So do you see that maybe much like they have the iTunes store where any add-ons have to go through like an app approval? Because you know that a lot of the apps that go into the Apple Store, App Store, a lot of them have been checked. Some still get through that are malicious.
Yeah.
Compared to Android, that is open source, right? A lot of their
apps. Google has the same policy as well. Right. The same. All the apps get scanned before they go onto the platform.
Then why does Google have way more apps that are compromised than Apple does?
Oftentimes, on the App Store, it's far less nowadays. I think 5 years ago, yes, there was definitely an issue, but now the App Store is pretty much almost as secure as Apple, I would say. Where Google gets in trouble are people who are downloading unauthorized sideloading apps.
Which happens all the time, right?
That's the issue. People going to non-official app stores to get...
So how do we do it with these? Because you don't know, right?
I mean, from what I've seen from add-on, like Google Chrome and Firefox have their own add-on stores, which... I would say they're not as secured as, say, Apple or Google's App Store per se.
Right.
They do have recommended or add-ons made by those companies. I think when you're looking at an add-on for your browser, making sure if it's an add-on from a proper company like the LastPass add-on, which is made by LastPass, I think that's legitimate.
Or an Adobe add-on.
Yeah, but if you're getting a random tool from a random person on a random website, the question now is, okay,
whose address is registered in North Korea or Russia?
Well, even that, even if it's a North American creator, what if they don't update the app for a year or so? Because now it's on the onus is on the developer to make sure it's updated to latest standards.
Good point.
So I mean, there's a lot of issues with add-ons, and we've seen over the last couple of years, this has been one of the attack vectors how hackers are gaining our data. Because everything, where if you add an add-on on your browser and it has a pop-up asking, "Hey, can I have access to your browser history?" Why does the note-taking add-on on your desktop browser...
Does it ask you for that? Have you seen those? Have you seen those? Because I know that you use a lot of add-ons, right?
Yeah. Well, we use intelligence open source add-ons.
Right, we do.
Yeah.
So have you seen that, though? When you click on that, it'll say, can we have access to your...
Yeah, and many add-ons that are made just by general creators will often ask for everything, because it's just easier to program it that way. Where, obviously, when you download an add-on, you load it up, and there's that list of what it has access to.
Gotcha.
Just unclick the box.
So like we said, with convenience comes vulnerability. And these add-ons are very convenient. Some of what they do, right? Like I have one for the Wayback Machine. It's an add-on that I put on, right?
Yeah.
And so very convenient. But with it, if it's not coming from a reliable source, it has vulnerabilities.
Yeah. And I think, and with add-ons, it's easier to...
Just reminded me of a conductor.
It's easier to get an add-on from a random website. Like you don't have to go through Firefox or Chrome's add-on store, which anyone can upload anything on there anyways.
Right.
But I could have an add-on and put it on a website. You can download from a website for your browser. I don't have to go through the store.
Gotcha.
And it's pretty easy to install it that way. So I do think there needs to be changes to how add-ons are working within browsers.
Gotcha.
I mean, the one benefit, I guess, for Safari for iOS is you can't really add in add-ons, which is, I guess, one cool feature.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't install add-ons that prevent blocking of trackers on Safari on iPhone.
Just be careful, right? It's like Brandon says, download ones that are coming from reputable companies.
I think that's the solution.
And you're going to be far safer, right? So, yeah. Sometimes we're far too quick to download on the things that are the newest and quickest. You know, one of the things I always say to a lot of kids is before you download a new app, let it kind of transition for a little bit and see what it's up to before you download it, right? So and always look at the privacy policy. Always look at obviously these add-ons would also have to have a privacy policy, right?
You don't necessarily have to. Just a program. I guess it depends on where they're being made from. If it's a small creator with a small team in the middle of nowhere, it's regardless of any laws that may apply to them having that or not, which some laws may not apply to them, right? So
Sure.
I guess it all depends.
Yeah.
Or even if they have a privacy policy, do they even adhere to it? And if you're a small developer, one-person operation in the middle of nowhere making an add-on with the best intentions, you have a privacy policy, copy and paste it, doesn't mean you actually follow it.
There you go.
Yeah, sure, there can be legal consequences, but I mean, like, what's the risk? So,
Interesting show.
Yeah,
Some good
that's the show.
topics. Some ethical topics from an ethical
do you take the money?
moral standpoint.
Do you take the money?
I wouldn't.
Do you take the money? Let us know in the comments below. Would you take the money?
But then when all of a sudden you put it into the perspective of, your family's dying of hunger and all of a sudden...
If you're a charity, help people survive and live. I mean, like,
it's a
that
hard
money
one,
could save lives.
right? But...
Or it could go to the pockets of the CEOs and charities. That's a whole other ethical discussion.
Isn't it, though? I mean, it's interesting to see how some of these so-called not-for-profits, the money's donated, how much of it actually goes to the purpose rather than to the pockets of individuals who are the administrator. Don't get me going on that.
I like when we go to like a grocery store and say, "Hey, would you like to donate $5 today to this charity?" I'm like, "No, I'll donate directly."
That's right.
So I get the tax benefit and not you.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, yes, you can claim it on the receipt, but then you have to like do the math of like all the receipts.
Listen
It's
to
just
you.
easier.
Listen
like,
to you.
It's easier once a month, or once a month, once a year. You do a donation, and that's your good deed for the year. And then you just see the grocery stores. No, I already.
Right now, Cal's going, what did he just say?
And then it's
Cal,
easier.
I mentioned your name again.
It's easier math when tax time going, I donate this much for this one purchase to donation.
There you go. Good
Anyways.
show. I mean, there's some interesting discussions, right? Like the discussions are interesting from an ethical, moral, especially the Robin Hood ethical.
Anyone want to send me $20,000?
Yeah.
I'll send you my account.
I mean, some good discussions there, right? Like the one on the stop sign with the smart cars. Like,
I got a product for you. The stop sign pop up. If it's a smart car, make them stop dead in their tracks. They won't tail you anymore.
Those police departments that are using Teslas right now. I'm thinking,
I would assume the safety features have been disabled like that.
you would hope. Never make an assumption because it makes an ass out of you and me. Because
do you check the oil in your car every morning when you start it?
No, but
are you making an assumption your car's oil is perfect to go every time you start it up?
No, but that's why I have a change oil. That's why I have a change oil light. Right?
Do you ensure the light is always functioning?
Yes.
You open the dashboard and check the light.
No, I don't.
As humans, we need to make assumptions in order to function.
Oh, God, I hate these academic gymnastics with you.
Do you ensure the
Cal, can I come and join you over in Vancouver, my man? Hey, that's your name the 4th time in this show.
Do you check the septic field before you flush to make sure it's not full?
No, but we have an alarm to allow
How do you know the alarm works?
Because I tested. There's a little test button there.
How do you know the light in the sound machine works when you test it? What if the wire snapped?
Well, then when I push the button, it wouldn't work. Yeah. Yeah. Ah!
But
Got him!
do you come out here and test that every time you use the toilet?
Not every time.
Do you ever do that? Oh, I gotta flush the toilet. I'm gonna come up to the studio.
No, I said not every time. But what I did say is every so often I do come in here and I push that button just to make sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how do you know the wire isn't snapped?
Because if it was snapped and I pushed the button, it wouldn't work.
Okay, I guess that thing has a failsafe.
Yes. I just.
But still, no, you did not.
I just beat the bullet.
No, you did not.
Brandon always wants to win.
No, you did not.
I did. I won that one.
No, because how do you know every time when you flush a toilet it's not going to overfill or back up your septic system?
Well, you don't.
Exactly, unless you go and physically check. Go, can I flush today? Open the septic field. Yeah, I can flush today.
Well, no, I'm not going to do that. That's
exactly, because you make an assumption.
I have an alarm.
The alarm's not here. If you use that when you're at a different building, you're not going to hear the alarm.
Yes, I do. It sends it to the app on my phone.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, you're smarter than me. You're right. I was trying to trick you. It didn't work.
So we make assumptions every day. If we were to truly be 100%...
Are you my son?
Yes.
Are you making an assumption?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
I'm making the assumption because I know I can trust you.
Oh, okay. Well, I can trust that my toilet and my alarm is going to work.
Precisely, but it's making an assumption. There's no guarantee. But based on past performance, you can make a general assumption.
On that note, everybody.
I just hate when people say don't assume things.
Welcome.
We need to assume things, otherwise we would go crazy as humans.
Thanks for attending.
I'm the one that presses the button that ends the show.
Have a nice rest of the day.
Okay, bye everybody.
See ya. See you next show. Bye.
Bye.